You know, child, sometimes the words that cut the deepest don't come from strangers. They come from the ones we love most. When my daughter looked at me on her wedding day and said, "You embarrassed us," it felt like a knife twisting inside my heart. I had come dressed in my best clothes, with a smile that hid years of sacrifice, ready to celebrate her happiness. But her words froze me in place. I wanted to ask her what she meant, why she would say such a thing to her own mother. But in that moment, surrounded by guests and music, my throat closed, and I said nothing. But silence has its price. You see, the truth behind those words goes much further back than her wedding day. It reaches into the corners of my past, into memories I thought were buried, into choices I made as a young woman trying to survive in a world that didn't make survival easy. Tonight, I will tell you the story, because maybe if you hear it, you will understand, and maybe one day, my daughter will too. I was 17 when I married your grandfather. 17, with dreams of becoming a teacher, but dreams do not fill empty stomachs, and my family believed marriage was the safer path. He was a kind man, hard-working, but life was not gentle with us. We struggled to put food on the table, and every coin we earned had to stretch like a thin blanket on a winter's night. Your mother, my firstborn, came into the world when I was just 19. I remember holding her tiny hand, promising silently that her life would be different from mine. I swore she would study, she would walk into rooms with confidence, she would never feel the weight of poverty pressing her down. But promises are fragile things when the world is against you. One particular memory haunts me to this day. It was a school event. Your mother must have been 10 years old. Her class had won a prize for a project, and the teacher invited all parents to come and watch them present it. I had only one sari that was not torn or faded, so I wore it proudly, though I knew it looked old-fashioned. I walked into the school hall with excitement, carrying a small gift for her teacher wrapped in newspaper, because I could not afford pretty paper. When I saw your mother on stage, my heart swelled with pride. She spoke so clearly, her eyes shining, and I thought to myself, yes, she will have a better life. But then, when her classmates' parents gathered afterward, I noticed the way she avoided looking at me. I noticed how she stepped a little away when her friends came near. That night, she said it for the first time. "Mama, you embarrassed me." She was only a child, but those words stung more than she could have known. I didn't scold her, though. I simply held her and whispered, "One day you will understand." As years went on, I worked wherever I could, cleaning houses, sewing clothes, even selling vegetables by the roadside. People sometimes whispered, laughed, or ignored me. But I didn't care. Every rupee I earned went into her education. But here is the truth I never told her. There was a time when I had to borrow money from neighbors just to pay her school fees. And once, when things grew desperate, I pawned the only piece of jewelry I had, my wedding necklace. That day, I walked into the pawn shop with trembling hands, knowing that if your grandfather ever found out, he would feel humiliated. But I did it because I could not bear the thought of my daughter missing a school trip, standing alone while her friends went. Do you see, child? Every so-called embarrassment I caused her in public was because I was carrying the hidden weight of keeping her future safe. Years passed, and your mother grew into a fine young woman. She studied hard, became educated, and found a good man to marry. I thought, now she will finally see the truth. Now she will know everything I did was for her. But life does not always reward the sacrifices we make. On her wedding day, I wore a sari I had carefully saved for, one I thought looked elegant. I arrived early, wanting to see every detail, to be the proud mother watching her daughter step into a new chapter. But as I walked toward her, she stopped me. Her eyes were cold, her voice sharp. "Mama, you embarrassed us." She was speaking of something I had said to her fiancé's family, something small, unpolished, perhaps not as refined as the wealthy people around us. She thought I had made her look less. And in that moment, all the memories came rushing back, the school event, the times she pulled away from me, the whispers behind my back. The pain was not in her words alone, but in the realization that after all these years she still did not see. She still thought her shame was me. What I never said I wanted to tell her, "My child, do you know what true embarrassment is? It is not wearing old clothes in front of rich people. It is not speaking with an accent or lacking fancy manners. True embarrassment is when you forget the hands that fed you, the sacrifices that built the ground you walk on." But I said nothing. I swallowed my hurt, as mothers often do. That night I cried quietly, not because of what she said, but because I realized she carried a wound she didn't even recognize. A wound from childhood, when she mistook my poverty for shame. So here is the truth behind her words, child. When she says, "You embarrassed us," she does not mean just that one moment at her wedding. She is speaking from years of carrying the silent discomfort of being the daughter of a poor woman. But I do not blame her. Society teaches us to admire wealth and look down on struggle. Children absorb what they see. And she saw me always working, always stretching, always appearing less than others. She thought that made her less too. The real shame, though, is not poverty. The real shame is when love is hidden behind pride, when sacrifice is mistaken for weakness, when the truth of a mother's heart is never spoken aloud. If she ever listens to this story, I want her to know I never felt embarrassed of her, not once. Every moment of her life, she was my pride. Even when she pushed me away, even when her words broke me, she was still my shining light. And if she thinks I embarrassed her, then let it be so. I would rather carry that burden 1,000 times than let her carry the burden of hunger, ignorance, or despair. Remember this, child. Never measure people by the clothes they wear, the money they have, or the polish of their words. Measure them by the love they give, by the sacrifices they make, by the quiet strength that carries others forward. That is the truth behind "You embarrassed us." And that, I pray, is the lesson you will never forget.